What up, YouTube? It's your boy JusRzd, and today is another episode of Rage Reviews, and we're gonna be reviewing the Penguin episode 3. I ain't gonna hold you. Colin Farrell and the lady playing Sophia Falcone deserve every award that they can get for this particular show. This show is phenomenal, man. I made a video for I made a reel or a short because it's YouTube about this particular show, man, and about them deserving awards, because I said that they were carrying the show, and I don't mean carrying as in they're the only good thing. I mean the show is phenomenal and they are acting their butts off. First 2 episodes, crazy. The first episode started out pretty slow, kind of got you introduced to, well, I ain't gonna say pretty slow because that first scene was wild, but the first episode got you introduced to Penguin and his life and his world in Gotham, and Colin Farrell did a phenomenal job. It also introduced you to Sophia Falcone, and we see her make her return. And then episode 2, we get to see both of them grow in their own dynamics in the show, and just you see the conflict in both of them that they're facing, and just Sophia facing ridicule from her family, and her family kind of pretty much don't want nothing to do with her and just wants to see her go away. And it was it was low-key kind of sad. Like, they offering her tickets to Italy so she can get out the way and let them handle this. And it was just like, bruh, like, why y'all treat shorty like this? Like, what she do to y'all? Like, everybody looking at her like she crazy just because she went to Arkham. And it was just like, man, like, bruh, like, it was a lot. But and then we see Penguin, he's still on the come up, and we see, like, low-key his superpower in this particular universe of the Batman and Gotham is, like, being able to talk his way out of any situation, and just, like, being able to think on the fly and come out with just, like, reasons and excuses for everything to be able to manipulate his way and talk his way up out of any situation. And it's just like every episode, just when he thinks he's got it together and it's going well, something happens. It takes a mean left turn. Something always happens. A wrench is thrown in every episode's playing, and it's no different than episode 3. In episode 3, yeah. Episode 2 ended with Sophia Falcone and Penguin pretty much forming an alliance. Episode 3 starts with Penguin and Victor back at Penguin's crib, and Penguin just kind of addressing Victor and just trying to treat him better. You can tell he kind of looks at him like a little brother, like he sees himself in Victor, and he starts to pay Victor money. He was like, I'm gonna start you out with $1,000 a week, and Victor from the slums, you feel me? So that's a lot. But even in the beginning, in the very beginning of the episode, we actually have a flashback to see what actually happened to Victor and his family. So we see Victor in the past, and we see him walking the streets of Gotham in his neighborhood. He sees his girlfriend, and she wanted him to go chill with her. He was like, hold on, I gotta drop this off at the crib, then I'll come back. So he goes in the crib. You get to see his mom, his sister, his dad, and you kind of see them. It's like a Dominican and Mexican family, and like, literally, the behind the scenes, the lady said she wanted to make Victor Dominican and Mexican. So I forgot if it was his mom who was Mexican. I'm assuming his mom was Mexican and his dad was Dominican, but I'm not sure. But you see their interaction. You see they're a really loving family. You see that his dad is, like, really, really strict on his morals and his moral code. And they're like, Dad, why don't you ask for more money from your job? And he's just like, nah, we're good where we're at. Like, I'm not worried about ruffling feathers and stuff like that. Like, I'm loyal. And so it was just interesting to see that dynamic. Then Victor ends up leaving. He goes to chill with his friends. And we see the dynamic of the friends that he's around, and those are the same friends that were trying to vandalize and rob Penguin's car on the first episode. And we get to see more of them before they started to take the crime. And we see as they're waiting for like the fireworks, because they're on top of a roof, on top of some apartment building, and they're waiting for fireworks to happen. And so they're looking, they start to hear and feel rumbling, and then they see these massive explosions happening in the city. And of course, this is the explosions that happen at the end of the Batman the movie, where Riddler kind of blew up the poor section of he kind of blew up the dam in the poor section of Gotham, so it ends up flooding the poor section of Gotham, and we actually see that take place in the beginning of this episode. And we see Victor's family's apartment complex actually get overrun with floodwater. And yeah, so he tried to call his mom and be like, yo, get out. And before she could even get to the phone, she was out of there. So before she could even get to the phone, the whole apartment complex was gone. Just overtaken by the flood water from the dam. And it was just sad, just seeing his backstory and seeing why he's choosing, like, how, pretty much showing how he got to where he got. And it was just sad. But Victor did his thing this episode. And so we go back to the present. We see Penguin and Victor interactions, and Victor's like, hey, so you and Sophia are like partners now? And he's just like, well, we have mutual enemies at this point. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend, pretty much. And so like our interests align at this point. And so he was like, she's cool with that? You cool with that? He was just like, I mean, it is what it is for right now. And then he gets a phone call from the Baronis, and so he has to take the phone call in his bedroom. Shout out to Penguin's bedroom, because he got like some bank vault doors for his bedroom doors, which is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Then we see Sophia knock on the door, so Victor opens the door for her, and immediately she starts grilling Victor, and she can tell off rip. Not just because he's stuttering, and he stutters very, very hard when he gets nervous, but just the fact that like you could tell she could tell when people are BSing her and when people are lying, and she could just see who's being real and who's not, and she could tell Victor is pretty much BSing her. And but he introduces himself as Penguin's driver, and she starts asking him questions, and he's just like he's stuttering through the whole thing, and she's just like, all right, whatever. And so they get ready to leave, and Sophia's like, nah, it's just being you tonight. You're going to drive me like you did old times, because she reveals that Penguin used to be her driver before she got locked up in Arkham. And it was just, she was like, all right. And Penguin was like, all right, just stay here. So as they leave, Victor decides the bright idea is to text his girlfriend back and invites her over to Penguin's house, and they have a little parlay over there. They chilling. He tries to go in for the kiss, and she's like, well, I'm about to leave and move to California. And she was like, I mean, you could come with me. And Victor's just like, that sound good, but I don't think Penguin gonna let me leave. I done seen too much. Like, this ain't really how the life of crime work. Like, if I try to leave, he gonna probably kill me. So which is a good place to have your head when you think about it, because it's like, yeah, it sounds good to leave and go to California with you, but at the same time, I ain't trying to die today. So let's not say we did. But he ends up at the end of the day buckling and being like, oh snap, they on their way back, and you gotta leave, and but buy me a ticket and I'll meet you down there tomorrow or whatever. She was like, all right, cool. She was all happy, but she ends up leaving, and the whole time we see the whole time Penguin and Sophia were gone, Sophia pretty much takes Penguin to the drug operation, so he actually gets to see what drug they're going to be peddling and how it works and how it's pretty much manufactured. And it's manufactured by these rare mushrooms that have to be handled very delicately. The sap of the mushrooms actually produces hallucinogens in like a feeling of euphoric bliss. And so what they do is they take the sap, they crystallize it, and that's the drug that they're actually going to be peddling or trying to peddle to Gotham. And it's interesting because the whole time Penguin's just sitting there, just taking in the information. He's like, all right, cool. And we see Sophia. She tries to go back to the Falcone house and pick up a few things or whatever. And one of the top brass men, I forgot his name, but he doesn't like Sophia at all and pretty much threatens her. And he's just like, look, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be in Italy. So either you can take the ticket and go to Italy, or I can tell everybody that that's where you went. Hinting at the fact that I can definitely kill you and hide your body. So you got one or two choices: either leave and go to Italy, or I can kill you and hide the body and tell everybody you went to Italy. So she was just like, all right. And I low key kind of like the way Sophia plays it, like the actress that plays Sophia. I love the way she plays it, because like she really plays like super submissive when dealing with her family. She's like, well, all right. But the whole time she's just like, yeah, you're slowly climbing on my hit list. Like you're slowly getting up there. And so yeah, it was interesting. We see Sophia and Penguin just really kind of build their alliance. You could tell they had history and they had synergy back in the day, but it was interesting. They went to the triads that the Falcones actually moved out of their territory. And that's kind of how the Falcones got into the territory that they have now. They pretty much went to war with the triads and moved the triads out. And so, of course, nobody in the Falcone family is like welcome in the triad space, but they end up kind of BSing their way into the triad space and trying to pretty much set up a meeting with the head of the triads to use the triads to peddle the drug that they have. And through them BSing that whole conversation, they end up naming the drug Bliss. Well, actually, Penguin came up with the name, and you can tell Sophia looked real impressed when he came up with that name. But it was interesting to see their dynamic just kind of playing off of each other and just BSing the dude. But the dude kind of pulled their card at the end. He was just like, all right, well, if y'all family vouches for y'all, then I need this top brass person to contact to make a phone call to the head of our group, so that way we know it's real. And so they're like, all right, well I guess that's what we'll do. And the whole time they were in there discussing, the whole time they were in there having that conversation with the triads, Victor's outside with Penguin's car. He gets pulled up on by the police, and of course he got the drugs in the car with him, so he can't let the police search the car, because if they search the car, they're gonna find the drugs, then he gonna be in trouble. And he probably gonna go to jail, if not get killed. And so he asks Victor to step out the car, and they search. He pats him down, and he sees that Victor's stuttering. Victor's stuttering hard because he's super nervous. And so of course that makes him look suspicious to the cop. So the cop pats him down and finds the wad of money. And he was just like, oh, this is a lot of money for one person to have. And Victor, you could kind of see his mind working, listening to what Penguin had advised him, just thinking quick on his feet. And he was just like, what money? I didn't have any money. And he just looks the cop dead in his face. And the cop looked at him and was just like, all right. Put the money in his pocket and was like, look, when your boss come out here, you need to leave. And then pulled off. Didn't give him a ticket or nothing. And so he didn't get the car searched or nothing. Like he ended up making out of that one clean. So the next scene, we see Penguin and Sophia, of course, leave out. And then we see Penguin and Victor having a dinner, discussing what just transpired. And the whole reason they were at the particular restaurant that they were at was to actually so Penguin could meet up with the head brass of the Falcone family's wife to pretty much bribe her into getting caught with her side dude. Mistress, side dude. Yeah. Anyway, so that the top brass of the Falcone family's wife has a side guy, and the side guy is actually the the like right hand man to the head of the Falcone family. So Penguin went to that restaurant to bribe her to get caught in the middle of a sexual act with her side dude, so that way they can bribe the side dude in making the phone call to the head of the triads, so that way they can move forward with the business with the triads pushing the drugs. And so they end up setting everything up. Him and Sophia end up catching them in the act, and of course dude talking mad reckless, calling Penguin all disrespectful type of stuff, called him Penguin as like a slur. So of course Penguin over there getting upset, he getting mad, snaps a little bit and almost chokes the dude to death with his own phone. But he ends up stopping just enough for the dude to make the phone call and talk to the triads so that they can set up a meeting with the head brass of the triads and they can move forward with pushing the drugs. So they end up going to the Iceberg Lounge and having that meeting, and they set it up with some of Penguin's girlfriend's clientele and her girls as like the peddlers of the drugs, and then you had Victor as the bad guy who had the drugs. So anytime they were selling it to different people, they would come back to him to get more supply so that they can continue to push the drug throughout the club. And so that goes on. Victor goes down to the dance floor and is interacting with the people and kind of has like an anxiety attack / PTSD flashback of the night when his family died, and it freaks him out, so he goes into the bathroom to try to get himself together. Whole time Sophia and Penguin are talking to the head of the triad and pretty much secure the deal with the head of the triad, and Penguin finds Victor in the bathroom. He's excited, but he sees Victor's very distracted and distraught, and he sees him keep going to his phone. He's like, let me see your phone. So he takes the phone, he reads the messages, he's like, what's this about? And then just completely goes all the way off on Victor and just is like, bro, like his monologue to Victor was so cold. It was so dope, so well performed. Colin Farrell was putting on a clinic this episode, and it was just like, bro, like he is going in on him, like not necessarily being upset, but just kind of being disappointed, like, bro, just calling him on his BS, like, I'm not forcing you to be here, like, you was free to go at any time, you chose to stay here, like, I gave you a place to stay, a place to crash, I put money in your pocket, I'm doing all this stuff for you and making sure that you good, and you over here, all you see is the gun, and put the gun to his head, and it was just like, bro, he's going in, like, yo, this episode was just fire. And he ends up like he pretty much just tells him to leave, and Victor gets upset and walks out the club and realizes he has Penguin's keys in his pocket and drives away. So he takes Penguin's car and drives to the bus station, and he was allegedly gonna get on the bus with his girlfriend, and he pulls up, sees her in line about to get on the bus, and he's just like, he's looking at her, he's thinking, and then he just watches her get on the bus and the bus drive off. And it was just like, I think in that moment you could just feel that he made a decision in the moment to have something better for himself and not just go along with what everybody else wants for him. So it's like something he actually chose to do for himself. And so he ends up riding back to the Iceberg Lounge. And while he's on the way back to the Iceberg Lounge, and while he was gone, Penguin and Sophia actually are having a heart-to-heart conversation outside the Iceberg Lounge. And Sophia's like, yo, do you even regret turning me in and flipping on me? And Penguin was just like, do I regret it? Nah. Like, I don't regret what I got from flipping on you. I got this club, I got certain people's respects, I got certain other things. He was just like, to you that might not mean nothing, like, but to me, coming from nothing, it's a lot. Like, so I don't regret what I got, but I am sorry that it played out the way that it did. And you could just kind of see Sophia just kind of thinking, you still full of BS, but I appreciate you being honest in this moment. And you could tell, I mean, Penguin almost in tears. He was just like, just let me show you that you could trust me and that I got your back and this, that, and the third. And as soon as they like are almost at like a mutual respect / trust, the Maroney family's wife and her goons pull up, and they pretty much have Sophia and Penguin at gunpoint, saying, "You thought you could play with, you thought you could double cross us," and of course, as they're on their knees with the guns pointed at them, Victor pulls up and he sees what's going on, and he ends up running over a couple guards with Penguin's car. And in that whole dysfunction, Penguin hops in the car, tells him to drive off. Victor's like, "What about Sophia?" He's like, "Man, just drive." So it's like he just told her she could trust him, and just to betray her 2 seconds later when Victor pulls up, saving them out the blue. And so the episode kind of ends with them pulling off, and I'm super excited to see what's going to develop from this point. Like, what's going to develop in episode 4? How is Sophia going to react? You know what I mean? Once her and Penguin get back in the same room, because he low-key kind of left her there. Like, he could have easily been like, "Yo, get in the car," but that didn't happen. He hopped in the car and they drove off. And so I'm interested to see how that's going to develop, how the rest of the story is going to play out. Like, I'm locked in at this particular point. This episode, it was a 10 out of 10 for me. It was a 10 out of 10. I can't do no lower. It was a 10 out of 10 for me. Give Sophia Falcone and Oz Cobb every reward you can give them for a TV series, because they are putting on a clinic with the acting chops. And so, yeah, that's my review for this particular this episode. Like I said, I'm excited to see where they go with it, how the story develops, any new characters that get introduced. I'm just locked in at this point. So let me know in the comments below how you feel about it. Do you agree with the rating? Do you agree that this series has been phenomenal? It's only been 3 episodes and it's already just, it's fire. It's already fire. And so let me know in the comments below how you feel about it. Is it on your watch list? Have you seen it yet? Are you planning on watching it once all the episodes come out? Let's chop it up in the comments about it. How do you feel? Do you feel like they deserve rewards? I do. But do you agree? Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be notified anytime we drop a new video on this particular channel. And we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And I know we can do it with your help. So hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can be notified. And never forget, it's FreeSoul to the show free. Let's get it.